So if anyone wants to record, just raise your hand. I'll allow you to record. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Smriti, raise your actual hand, not some computerized hand. Ah, excellent. Why don't you raise your actual hand? Won't it give you some exercise? Huh. Okay, cool. So today we'll look at notation and we'll look at scales. We'll actually have to do quite a few things today. So we'll try and do as much as we can for about an hour, after which we'll take a short break, come back and go on for another about an hour. Okay, so let's start off with notation.
Sorry, I'm still not able to record.
Sir, can I record? Sir, can I record?
Yes, yeah. I can't allow you and Uma to record. You all are probably on some iPhone or iPad or something.
No, I'm on laptop.
Now it's allowed.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
In any case, if you see two people other than us recording it, anyway the recording will be uploaded, and the recording which we are doing will probably be the best quality because there's no latency. However, the problem when I record is you'll see me and all of your faces because I need to see everyone. But when you guys record, it'll only come with my face. So that's the problem. So your recording, the audio quality may not be that good, but when I record, the audio and video quality will be that good, but then you'll see everyone. I think that's also fine. Yeah. So let's just get started with a little bit of notation. Okay. So first of all, music has a bunch of symbols, and if music is played like this, let's say I just take a single note like this and play, and if you move your head to the music, right, let's say your head moves something like 3 4, agreed? You have to move in some way, right, when music is played. So if music is played like this, you play like that, you move your head like that at least, or else we can go. Now what's happening? I'm playing 2 notes for every head movement, right? So the head movement is what we call as the pulse. The pulse is how we feel the song. So any kind of music. So even if I were to play you an actual melody, let's say something like this. So usually the head will either move straight for some music, it could move up and down, I guess, or for some music it could move sideways. Like this Louis Armstrong song is a blues song, so your head tends to swing. That's why we call it swing, for that possible reason. Your head will move sideways as opposed to straight, but it will still move, won't it? So any kind of music, it will move either front or side. Okay, and that the way in which your head moves or the rate in which your head moves is called the pulse. Why don't we test out our knowledge of the pulse with a few more songs? I'll just keep playing and see if you all can move your head periodically with the pulse. Okay, maybe something like this. Right? Now your head may not probably move. You'll get a headache and I don't know what will happen to you after that. So your head will always move in a very natural way. Otherwise, music itself, you will not enjoy it. If you cannot move your head periodically, you can't enjoy it. So the way we move our head is extremely important for musicians because we build everything around that. We build the notation, we build the rhythm pattern, and of course you build music. Everything depends or is based on what we call as the pulse. So when I played this, for all you know, your head moved like. Right? Even if your head was not moving, at least you were snapping your hand or you tapped your foot or some action has to happen, right? Otherwise, there's some problem with you, which I highly doubt because all of you seem to be attending this class. Anyway, so this is what happens with music. It's a involuntary reaction. If the musician does his or her job fairly well, then the people who listen to the music have to express some form of physical reaction. And the physical reaction is always something like moving of a head or something. Some muscle will move, right? Even if you are not aware, some muscle is reacting. And if the musician is good, the pulse will be given by the musician to the listener. So in which case, so if I had played the tune in this way, maybe if I had played it like this. See, no one is moving their head except for Smriti, who seems to be in an encouraging mood for some reason. So no one else was moving their head for some reason, right? Maybe because the music itself was wrongly interpreted or wrongly produced. Maybe I had the idea in my head, but it was not coming out as good as maybe this rendition. Right? So you move it in a very periodic way. So this is one of the most basic things to be able to do as an artist or as a musician. I'm going to keep saying artist, musician, player, composer, producer. It all pretty much means the same thing. You're in the world of or in the field of music for some reason. So the pulse we write using our notation, using this feel. So let's say in a bar there are 4 beats. So maybe you should write it like this. This is how you're going to write 4 beats. Okay, so this will be called as beat 1, beat 2, beat 3 and beat 4. The thing which I wrote in yellow is not, you will not see this. I just showed it to explain. Okay, so this is how we write our music. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. So how do we clap this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So this is music which is on the pulse. So the way our head moves only is the way the music is played. For example, if I played you this sort of a tune. So here every single note is moving with our head movement only. So there's nothing so great about what's happening. So we need to do a couple of things. We need to divide the pulse and we need to multiply the pulse. Multiply means you have a longer value of a note. Division means you have a shorter value of a note. So if we have to multiply, you're probably going to get this. You will get this symbol. So now every one of these beats will last longer. So let's try and build that in a kind of a tree system. So you have this, 2 of these become 1 of that. Okay, you can write it down while we are learning. Writing it is very important. Yes, there are recordings and all that, but when you write, especially theory, it starts, you remember it better. Anyway, so you have this. What did we call this again? This is the pulse. So the pulse, if you multiply the pulse, it's going to become this. And don't worry about what these are. These are just symbols. You don't have to really name them just now. These are just symbols, right? So what if we take 2 more pulse beats? That will also come to this. And then what if we take 2 of these? 2 of these will become an oval. So you have oval with the line, then oval with the line and shaded. However, this is the main way, this is the main note. You start from here and you see we've multiplied it. We've gone longer and longer. How long does each of these last? 1 1 1 1 beat. It will just keep lasting 1 beat. Okay, and then we have to also consider division, dividing the beat. So to divide it, this is what we do. This one got divided into 2. Now this one got divided into 2. This one got divided into 2. Divided into 2. All of you, I'm sure, would have seen multiplication and division, right? So that's what's happening to the beat. So if this beat lasted 1 second, of course it doesn't have to last 1 second. Musical time is not like a normal time, normal watch which you're staring or wearing on your hand. It's a very different kind of time. You can adjust the speed of 1 second. Like each second you can say, I want it to be this fast or that fast. And you can feel that. You don't have to name it or count it. So let's just say that this is at 1 second. So this is going to be played slower than a second, isn't it? This is going to be played at what? 2 seconds. And then this is going to be played at 4 seconds. What will this thing be? This will be at half a second, or what some of us will call as 500 milliseconds. Milli means 1000 milliseconds includes 1 second. 1000 ms equals 1 second. So you have 500 milliseconds or half a second, half of a second. And then here we can further divide it if you want. You can divide the beat into how much now? Anyone can guess how much I'm dividing this beat into?
1000 milliseconds.
1/4.
1/4, not 1000 milliseconds. That would be 1 second, no? Whoever said 1000, it will be 1/4. So how many milliseconds?
250.
250, or else quarter of a second. This is half of the beat. This is quarter of the beat. So if you replace the word second by beat, it becomes more musical, right? So the word second we all know, but if we replace it by beat, the beat can be anything. The beat can move at a specific tempo. Tempo is the rate of the beat, and the tempo is sort of very similar to our the way our heart beats, isn't it? Our heart doesn't care about your clock, wrist watch, whatever you have. If it did, you will not be here by now, right? Your heart, if you exercise, the heartbeat will obviously beat faster, and you will have a resting heart rate, and you need to ensure that it's consistent. And if there are issues, we have doctors, isn't it? So a heart rate is an example of a changing tempo or a changing BPM. With music, however, we need to create a constant BPM, right? So it should never change. So once you decide the speed, it should never change. So for example, if I played you a tune like this, because it was fairly consistent, you call it music, and also your head moves periodically, and yeah, you can enjoy it, I guess. But if you played it like this, it's the same notes, but it's not periodic. So then the listener gets confused. He doesn't know what to wait for. when it's coming next. He doesn't know if the note is only coming, whether many notes will be thrown, whether very few. So listeners will first get a bit shocked, then they'll start getting annoyed or confused, and then they'll stop listening to you, unfortunately. So you need to understand how to play a pulse. This is very important. But the speed of the pulse can be the speed of the beat. So what is exactly 1 second? It may be something like this. Again, none of us know what is 1 second. Even I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But if it's a bit faster, this is not 1 second. If you see your watch, this is not 1 second, isn't it? This is a bit faster. This is even faster. Or you could do slower than a second. Right? And so on. So with music, so if I play on this speed, if I play in this speed, I can make some interesting music. Maybe see, it's very slow. Or I can make music which is a bit faster. What's the speed? That's the speed of the beat. So once you have the beat, you're going to create a nice grid. Okay? And then in that grid, we can start placing all our music, or we can do so many things with notation or with music in general. One is you can see and then you can play, or the other thing is you can see and sing if you are a singer, right? The other thing which I think is quite interesting, or the other things which people do, is you can hear and play or sing. But what we are going to try and do in this course is to hear, then write, then if you want you can play, then if you want you can sing. So this is one of the most important ways to listen to music. And this makes you very different from a normal music lover. What is the music lover going to do? That guy will just listen to something and smile or relax or some other nonsense, right? Musicians, unfortunately, if you're choosing this field, you're not listening to music only to relax. You're listening to music as an art form. So you have to appreciate every form of it. Music can be scary, it can be beautiful, it can be dreamy, it can be mystical, it can be anything. So if you're listening only to calm and relaxing music, then you should probably be in a hotel lobby or some elevator or in some aeroplane all day, where they play you all this so-called relaxing music. So as musicians, you need to know all the kinds of music, because it's an art form. You have to study every kind. So this is why hearing, writing and then playing will help. And this is called as transcription. Transcription is where you hear it and write it. So the first kind of transcription we are going to do is where I'm going to play some basic tunes and you're going to write it down in your book. I'll give you a few seconds, then we'll see if our answers are in fact right. So to transcribe, we need a note which is 1 count. Last one. What is that? This we already know. Then we need a note which has 2 counts. This we already know. Then we need a note which has 3 counts. This we don't know. So that's the 2 counted note with a dot. This has 3. Then what about a note which has 4? This is rather boring if you ask me. But anyway, we'll write that. Very, very rarely you'll hear this. It's like very uncommon. Then you can have something which has half a count. Maybe you could also have something which is for quarter of a count. And now when the music is played towards you, you have to write it down in bars of music. using this sort of a value. So let's start with some music which I'm going to play now. You're going to hear it and then you're going to write it using these symbols. Before that, I'll do one and then you do the other. Okay, so let's take this one. I'll stop there. So can anyone tell us how many bars were played so far? So how do you count the bars? After saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4 comes, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4 comes, and probably again. So you're counting the number of sets of 4, and that will tell you the number of bars. It's not that important, because if you take a big song, there'll be like hundreds of bars, so you lose count. But at least for now, since we are learning, just tell me how many bars were there.
4 bars.
Yeah, let's hear it again. You're right. Let's count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2, 3, 4. Right? So if you saw even Uma's hand, she was counting bar by bar. So by the end of it, how much did you end up at? 4, right? Yeah. Awesome. So how do we notate this melody now? The first bar appears to be with the pulse only, isn't it? Tung, 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 tung. Then the word little star, we can say the word star was long, no? Otherwise, it would have been twinkle, twinkle, little star, star, how I wonder what you are. Why would you do that? So these are the long words, star, and then maybe there's another R going on. So actually, it's the same, isn't it? Tung, 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 ta, tung, 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 ta. So there's a long one every second bar or so. Any questions so far while writing? So we've notated twinkle, twinkle, little star, and some of you may argue, why have we not notated it like this? Right, the key signature, then you do, your melody. Twinkle, there's no problem in writing it like this as well. It's just that this takes a little bit more time, and this is a y-axis as well, right? There's the up axis and the right axis. What do we normally have with any physical property? You have x and you have y, and y can be positive or y can be negative. So we need to study the y-axis a bit more before we start drawing these 5 lines and writing. But at least the x-axis is sorted, isn't it? X-axis is what now? Time. X-axis is only measuring time. What is y-axis measuring? Pitch. Have we learnt pitch yet? No. So that's why I didn't bother this. So apart from that, do you have any other questions before I give you 2 or 3 other melodies? Okay, we'll move on. Fine. Try and transcribe this melody now. I'm going to play it once more. I'll play it like 2 or 3 times. 1, and I always will start off the pulse. Be aware of the pulse. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, starting now. Repeat. Okay, again requesting one of you, if possible, if you can record this melody and upload it to the WhatsApp after the class. You want to record? I know there's a recording going on, but it will be good to just record. Anyone's recording?
I'm recording, Jason.
Awesome. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, start. One more time. I hope you're also hearing the snaps. And now you people have to transcribe it. What does transcription mean? You need to write the notes, the symbols. Come on.
Sir, I'm not able to figure out the symbols and write it.
Okay, so whenever you have a note which is 2 counts long, you need to use this symbol. Now, if the melody was tung, 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 then you'll only be using this. But if you find a long note, maybe it's one of these. And I'll give you a clue. There's nothing of this. There's no dividing. There's only these 4 symbols. Or maybe just the first 2. Who knows? Just check it once. So you have, if it's on the pulse, you draw what? This. But then if it's going faster than the pulse, you have to have the other symbols. Write it and try it. It's always good to try it and then fail a little and then you learn. One more time perhaps. 2, 3, 4, and so on.
So I'm done. I wrote it.
Okay, can one of you just guide us through the notation?
Yeah, I can take a shot if you. Yeah.
Yeah, Anjana. Yeah, where?
Yeah. So, do I just like call it as 2 and 1, or is that?
Yeah, 2 and 1 makes sense. Yes, why not? Yeah.
So it's 2, 1, 1, then 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, and 4.
Anyone disagrees? When the song ends, we put 2 lines for some reason. Yeah, this is right. Anyone else got some other answer? Let's discuss.
I got 2112.
2112. See, what's very important is look at the maths behind this. See, 2 plus the music is 4 beats per bar.
Okay.
Music is 4 beats per bar. So if I have to play 1, 2, 3, 4, the new note will be at the next bar 1. So maybe you got 2 1 1 2 2 2 1 1. Maybe you didn't put the line. That line.
Yeah. 2 1 1. And again 2 2. And then 2 1 1.
Then there's one more. There's some long note in the end also, isn't it? See, I'll play again. Wait, I'll play and point. See the screen. So you go 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. It's always nice to end with a long note at the end. Even when you speak a sentence, don't we end like that with a full stop? So with the music also, it's pretty much like that. Let's go again. See if anyone has a doubt. Check properly. 1, now starting, go. 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 2 we repeat. 2, 3. 2, 3. Now what if I played only on the pulse? What if I did only this rather boring rhythm? This one. If you only did that, it will be. See, it's like someone talking without stopping. Like a person who doesn't even acknowledge the difference between an adjective and a pronoun. He's just saying every word in the same way. Sort of like a robot. Like when you program a robot, probably they'll speak in a lesser way than a human. So you go, this is very boring. Not only boring, you won't remember anything. How will you remember this? You need gaps. You need sentences. So we do. One more time. 3, 4. And if you observe, I actually even changed my tune. So what? Because this notation did not tell me the pitch. It did not give me the y-axis. So I can play any tune I want. But I have to follow the rhythm. Okay, one more tune, one more exercise. Let's notate that. Hopefully you all get this now. Come on. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, one person who can record it, please. I hope you're recording. 1, 2. Little slower if you want. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Let's get the rhythm. And then again some volunteer once you've transcribed it. One, two, three. Anyone?
I can give it a try.
Yeah.
So that's 3 first. 3, 1.
Wait, we'll just write the thing. 3, 1, then
Mm, 1 1 2
Huh?
2 1 1 4.
Isn't the last one 2 2?
2 2.
Last
Yeah,
one is
yeah.
2 2, no?
2 2. Yeah.
Yes,
Correct.
2 2. It's
Yeah.
2 2. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Check once.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 2 2. Correct.
I'll point it. Just check. To starting. 2 3 4. 2 3 4 1 2. Again. 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. That's a tune. And later on, yeah, you need to figure out the notes. The notes would be sa re ga ma ga da ni re ni sa pa. Later on, we'll figure out these notes. Right. Also, then we have to figure out the Western notes of all this, which is G, A, B flat, C, B flat, F, A, F, G, lower D. You can actually keep going. Then you can start harmonizing this. You can say G minor chord will be played here, E flat major chord, F major, and then maybe a C sus4 drifting towards a C major chord, because this is pulling back to this and it creates a chord progression. So you look at the rhythm first, which we are doing now, then we look at the notes. The notes also require a little bit of your ear training. So when you know your notes, you can know it either using intervals. Using these Indian swaras would help. Western intervals also are there. We learn that also. Then you have to get the scale. You have to know that the first note was G. And now we have to see what is this G in the first place. So we'll figure that out. Then we'll figure out what chords go with that. Okay. The chords are the reason why we tell stories. Why music sounds like a story is because of the chords. So if you don't, you have to do all this. You have to know the rhythm, you have to know the pitches. That will train your ear, and then you have to choose chords. That requires a lot of theory and you should know what story you're trying to convey. Then you'll have a chord which will help you with the story. So all of this stuff we'll have to see over the course. Right now, I hope you're getting more and more confident with this stuff. Okay, let's also now try and divide the beat. We've been multiplying the beat quite a bit. Let's look at division. Before we divide, let's try and look at a few Indian ways of dividing the beat. So the Western ways can be a little bit annoying sometimes. So if you go the pulse, maybe you can say the word tha. Tha. Okay. And this is equal to a Western crotchet, or that symbol. Okay. Can you all say the tha with me with the pulse while clapping? 1, 2, little slow, and start. Tha, 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 tha. Again. Tha, 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 tha. I hope everyone's saying it. Tha, 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 tha. So it's a good way to kind of vocalize this sound or this speed or the pulse speed. So now we can actually go inside the pulse using taka. Okay, so tha was on the pulse, like how I'm snapping. Tha, tha, tha. And now let's do taka. Taka, 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 taka. And what I like is say ka with a higher pitch. This at a lower pitch, this at a higher pitch. So then it sounds different for your voice. Let's try this low pitch, high pitch. Okay. Now starting, go. Tak, 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 tak. Little faster. 1, 2, 3, go. Tak, 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 Okay, awesome. So let's just do a few variations of taka and ta. You look at my fingers. So 2 means taka and this thing means ta. Okay, this means pulse. This means double of the pulse. So you need to do 2 voice syllables with 1 pulse. Come on. 2, starting, go. Ta, 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 ta. Ta. See how my hand is moving. My hand is moving with the pulse. Now, start. Say it. Ta. You don't have to do what my hand is doing. You have to say it. Ta, 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 nabl. Tak, 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 ta, ta, ta. Again. Tak, ta. Combining. Oh, we need stuff for the other ones also. Let's figure that out. Okay, so what if you have to divide by 4? Ta, ka, di, mi, which has this Western thing. Okay, so this is divide by 1. This is divide by 2. And this is divide by 4. Okay, so now let's do takadimi together. Okay, yes, you can all see my finger. So you go 1, 2 and 3 and start. Takadimi, 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 takajunu, takad. Can even do takajunu. Takadimi, 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 takad. What if we combine a few takadimis with a ta? Takadimi ta, takadimi ta, takadimi taka, takadimi ta, takadimi taka, takadimi ta, takadimi taka, takadimi ta. Let's do it together, maybe without me saying anything, with just the fingers. So see the count. 2, starting, go. Takadimi, takadimi. Ta. And now okay, so we've combined that. Why don't we also try another one? We've divided by pretty much. Why can't we divide by 3 also? How do we do 3? Ta, ki, ta. This is how we write 3. So what is being divided into 3? We are dividing the pulse. So our head movement will remain the same. We are dividing the head movement by something. And we can divide anything, isn't it? Because it's maths. Time is a property is a property of maths. So the same principles of maths which apply to length or distance will apply to time. It's the same thing, because the maths will control each dimension or allow you to study each dimension. Okay, so if you have to divide the pulse, now we are dividing by 3. How do we divide by 3? Why don't you give it a go and let's see if you're getting it right. Go. 3, 4. Get me a 3 which may sound like this. Takita, takita, tak. Okay, divide by how much now? 3. Takita, tak. Now takita, 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 takita. Little faster. Takita, takita, takita 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 ta takita ta takita 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 ta takita ta takita ta takadimi takadimi takata takadimi takadimi takita ta takadimi ta takadimi ta takadimi takata takita 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 ta takita ta takita ta. Right? If you are a rapper, I guess you're getting some ideas, I hope, by now. Okay, so maybe this is how they make rap music. Fine. So we have all these systems. So what I want you guys to do is just, we'll do 2 assignments, like mini assignments, and the whole assignment you do in the house over the week. The first thing I want you to do is using this stuff, this symbol, as well as